In this video, we're going to talk about entering manual purchase orders. You can enter a purchase order at the top level organization or that individual store that you're going to be entering that order for. From the home page, you're going to click on the Inventory tab up at the top, Purchasing, and Enter Purchase Orders. This will bring you into the Enter Purchase Order screen. You'll have the two different tabs, the Purchase Order Header and the SKU Detail. We're going to start off with the Purchase Order Header. When you're entering a purchase order, you're going to be to the right of Purchase Order Number. This is where you're going to enter your number. You have up to 32 letters or numbers or combination of for your purchase order number. You can be as creative as you want with the purchase order number. In this example, I put the first four letters of New Balance, and I also put the date. So NEWB 03 for March, 30 for the 30th, and 10 for 2010, -1 for the first PO. The next field is the supplier code field, where you can use the magnifying glass icon for the lookup, or you can type in your code to the right of supplier code. Since I'm at the top level organization, it's asking me for a bill to store and a ship to store. If I was at store 1, for example, it would automatically fill in the bill to and the ship to. Here's where I can put a confirmation number in for the order, the count number, ship via, and terms. If you already have this information in the supplier file under Manage Suppliers, that information will automatically fill in for you. If you want this order to be split shipment or back order, you can check either of these boxes or leave them unchecked. You have the order date. The default is today's date. That can always be changed just by clicking on the calendar icon or typing in the date. As you'll notice, anything with a blue line is a required field where you must type information into that field. You have the ship date, cancel date, and payment date. These are optional, but highly recommended that you put in at least the ship date and the cancel date. There's a comment text box where you can type in any comments that you need for this purchase order, and there's also an alert message text box. Anything that you type in here and the alert message will pop up when you go to receive that purchase order. If everything on this particular purchase order is a special order for a customer, you can click on the special order checkbox. If not, leave it unchecked. And the close PO checkbox is for when you receive the purchase order in full after it's come in and there's nothing left to receive, where you can close it. And to the top right, you have print options. For your print layout, you can do it, the default is grid, or you can do column. Once you've typed in the general information on the Purchase Order Header tab, you can now click on the Save PO button down at the bottom of the screen. The next step is clicking on the SKU Detail tab up at the top. You can't click on this tab until you've finished everything on the Purchase Order Header and clicked on Save PO. This brings you to the screen where you can start entering your SKUs and the quantities for each size that you have on order. So the first spot is the SKU list. To the right, you're either going to type in the SKU or you're going to use the magnifying glass lookup to look up that SKU. Once you've selected that SKU, it'll highlight it and it'll bring up the size grid if there is a size grid that's applicable to the SKU. If you wanted to see what was on hand for the SKU, you could click on the Show On Hand Quantities checkbox, and that would show everything that's on hand for that SKU in green. Once you're ready to type in what you ordered, you can just go to those sizes and simply type in the quantities that you've ordered for each size and width. When you're done entering those quantities in, all you have to do is click on the Save SKU button, and that saves those quantities for each size for that SKU. If you have more SKUs that you need to enter on this order, you can pull up the lookup and you can select those SKUs and enter the quantities for each size and save them. And click on Save SKU. You can always modify any quantities for any SKU. All you have to do is find that SKU, click on it. It'll list the size grid down below, if there is a size grid, and it'll list the quantities, or if you wanted to adjust any of those quantities. Maybe you wanted to increase it, or maybe you wanted to add some other sizes as well. You can simply modify it, and when you're done, you can just click on the Save SKU button. You can also delete a SKU as well. If you click on the item, you don't want that on that order, it'll highlight it, and then you can click on the Delete SKU button. And that'll delete that SKU. The Alert Center message will come up asking if, are you sure you want to delete the SKU? You'll click on Yes. And that'll delete that SKU off of that purchase order. You can also adjust costs on a particular SKU. For some reason the master cost was $50, but you were getting a special price on this order. You could simply change the price where it says receive at cost, and all of those items would be received at the $45 cost when you go to receive them, when you get the shipment in. Once you're done entering all of the SKUs on that PO that you want to enter, you can click on Print and View, which will print this and bring you directly to the report history. Or you can Print and Clear, which will print and it will bring it to the report history, but it'll clear the screen so you can enter a new purchase order. I'm going to go ahead and click on Print and View. Now I'm on the report history and I can select that PO and open it. And here it is on the screen. So I can view it, scroll down and look at it. If there was more than one page, I could go to the last page. I could click on the printer icon if I wanted to print that to the printer. I could also save it somewhere on my hard drive if I wanted to. And that completes how to enter a purchase order.